Have you heard anything back from the XL2 coaching thing? Well, I applied for XL2 coaching. Yeah, so like most people know that XL2 put out a coaching position, or like we're looking for people to apply for their coaching spot. I did apply, but like even if they did get back to me about it, it would be a trial and I wouldn't be able to talk about it. So you'll know whether or not I got accepted for a trial or if I trialed, and I can't really talk specifics because that's it's not my place. So yes, I applied. Am I going to tell you whether I got rejected or whether I'm going through trials right now? No. So that's not something I will ever do. I'll let you know if I apply to a team, but I won't discuss anything past that. So yes, I applied to XL2, but that's all I'm willing to discuss publicly. Okay. So in this composition, we've got the Mercy and the Anna. So again, composition of healers that I don't really like, but Anna on Gibraltar is not really that bad. Then again, this is silver, and I don't think your Anna is actually going to be positioned correctly on Gibraltar. So bit of a question mark here. We'll have to see. But you do have the soldier though, so the nanovisor is really powerful ultimate, especially at this elo. You've got the Reinhardt. Not the greatest on Gibraltar. You are defending though, so Reinhardt Diva is actually one of the times first point defense Gibraltar. Rein Diva isn't the worst thing in the world. However, that's assuming that you're actually positioning correctly, which I don't have high hopes for, being this is soldier. Junkrat's great for good, really high damage, as well as his Riptire, and then soldier for the more continuous damage. So really, not the worst comp in the world. Actually, pretty decent. It's not optimal, but who the fuck cares about optimal in gold? Silver, bronze, even like platinum and diamond. I don't really care about optimal. I care about good enough, and this is definitely good enough. So you, as Mercy, I'd be wanting to stick to either Soldier or Junkrat to damage boost them. It really depends. If they're in the open, I'd be damage boosting Soldier because he's way more accurate, whereas if they're all kind of like clustered in a choke or going through the tunnel, I'd be more sticking to the damage boost of the Junkrat. I actually don't get asked that quite a bit. It's the first time I've been asked that in about a week or so.
Attackers incoming.
But can Soldier aim? At some point you have to trust
Pharah, Junkrat, and Mercy.
It's another one of my personal mantras about the game.
Top left.
Trust your teammates until proven otherwise. You got conked. That sucks.
I could use some assistance.
That seems loud, isn't it? Chad's probably going to bitch at me for that being loud. Let me turn it down a little bit. I just realized, I was like, that's really loud on my end. I'm sure chat's like, oh my god. Sorry about that. Yeah, well, this is what happens when the opponent has a pharmacy in silver, right? This is also console, so I can't even imagine how broken pharmacy is in silver on console. That would just be absurdly broken.
I don't know if it's a good idea to
I'm
try
taking
to
care of you. I've got
The
you.
payload has reached the checkpoint.
Healing stream engaged.
I'm just going to let it play for a while, because I want to get a feel for this game before I start offering advice. Anytime I do this, anytime I'm kind of like saying things like I want to just wait a little bit, is that like it's not that I can't find anything to correct, but especially in the lower... So for those of you guys who don't know, this is kind of like how my VOD review system works, because I've been doing this for a month, I plan on doing this for a month, and if I covered legitimately every error that I saw in every single VOD, I'd run out of tips pretty fast. So how I like to do it is if you're like Grandmaster, I will nitpick. I will point out every single error you made. Just like, I will just destroy you. I will put you against a wall, bend you, or anyway, enough of that. But if you're silver or gold or something, what I try and do is I try and find the one specific thing that you could do to improve your gameplay. So we're too early for me to like kind of find the one specific thing that this player needs to correct in order to actually start climbing. So I want to get a feel for what their major weakness is, or what one thing, if improved, would help them climb the easiest and the fastest.
I must go where I'm needed. Right beside you.
Good to see you, Majesty.
Thanks for switching back to that shield tank.
What SR is this? Silver console.
Mercy's down.
I'm with you.
I definitely would have pulled out my pistol earlier there. So if you're landing your shots, your pistol is almost always a better tool for actually applying damage than damage boost is, right? So damage boost does 30. Why am I doing? No, yeah, it's 30%. So Mercy's damage boost is 30%, and only 30%. But if you're landing headshots with your pistol, you can do way more damage. You know, if you're damage boosting somebody who's doing like area of effect, like Junkrat or like a Zarya right click or something, at that point, like damage boosting them would have more value for multiple reasons. Not only just because it's doing more damage, but because it's charging their ultimate as well. But especially in that instance where you were attacking that Junkrat there, Mercy's pistol does a surprising amount of damage, right? It really does. That's not a meme. You can outduel Genjis. It's happened in the pro scene where Mercies have outdueled Genjis. Didn't it just happen recently? Didn't Big Goose kill a dragon blading Genji? Now, the Genji was already low and already blew a Swift Strike, so it was rather easy. But it has happened multiple points in time where Mercy's pistol has killed DPS players because they've landed quite a few chained headshots. Neptuno does it all the time. Neptuno is probably one of the most aggressive supports in the game right now. And another thing with your positioning, and we mentioned this on the last Mercy's VOD, but see how you're hiding on the left side, but your route of retreat and your team is on the right side? You don't want to be positioned in locations where your path of retreat takes you through basically an active conflict area.
Heroes never die.
We're gonna need another hit scan because we're not getting anything done with this. The Pharah and the...
Kinda hard to
getting
kill the
too
damage
much.
boosted Mercy when the monkey jumps on me too.
I'm not saying that. We're gonna need 2 hit scans, probably.
Right.
My god, is Pharmacy just a terror in this elo? Holy smokes. Like, one of the better counters, at least on PC, to a Pharmacy is D.Va, but I can't imagine that Silver Console Divas have the ability to assist with Pharah takedowns. It's pretty rough.
Because the Pharah seems like the biggest problem here.
Winston's going up top around.
So Zane can put the Discord on her and I can
Winston's gonna track him behind. Winston's behind.
Honestly, this is something that we saw Soul Dynasty do a lot more, but one of the ways that they, like, it's not that they countered Pharah doing it this way, but, oh, that's unfortunate. Your soldier just ate it direct, and you're using Riptire. But, it's PC, he's just playing with a controller? Oh, right, never mind. This person sent me a message yesterday. I forgot about this. They sent me a message yesterday, didn't they? Yeah, I remember now. So this individual is... So, I forgot about this. This individual is transitioning from console to PC. And on all other heroes, they play with mouse and keyboard. But on Mercy, because that's the hero they played mostly on console, they've stuck to basically a controller for Mercy. And like, if you're going to stick to a controller for one hero, Mercy, then it's not like the worst thing ever. Like, the pistol part is going to be a little bit annoying, especially since you get 0 aim assist. Like, if you play with a controller, but on PC, you don't get the same, like, aim assistance you did playing on a controller on a console, right? Aim assist, you are just straight up playing with a controller. So yeah, I forgot that they sent me the message, but they only do this on Mercy. So like, that changes things. But regardless, the So one of the better ways that people have been like countering Pharah is not just with a Pharah of your own, but a Pharah, like a pharmacy versus pharmacy, but with Discord, is that if you get let me just double check the numbers. Yeah, so a damage boosted Pharah rocket does 156 damage. And then if the target that you're shooting at is discorded, it takes 30% extra damage. So a damage boosted Pharah rocket onto a discorded target is a one-shot kill. So this was something that Sol did quite a bit during stage 1. Was it stage 1 or stage 2? They did it a lot on Eichenwald, where in order to beat the enemy the enemy pharmacy, basically that their Pharah would play really passive until their Zenyatta landed a Discord on the enemy Pharah, and then their Pharah would just like fly up really close and then like jump jet into the enemy Pharah and just tap her once and she would die instantly. And it made other Pharahs just like so scared of getting discorded, and if they were discorded, they were just paranoid and they like had to keep their distance for the threat of being boosted into and just killed immediately. So yeah, a damage boosted Pharah rocket plus Discord on that Pharah is a one shot. It's 202 damage. So it's just barely a kill. It was stage 1. Yeah, so one of the better ways to counter Pharah is if your hit scan are incapable of killing the Pharah, go pharmacy yourself, call for Discord on the Pharah, and then one shot her. It's is really good. Elk says that pharmacy should never duel because the time it takes to kill the other Pharah, they can blow up their tanks, which is more valuable. I say the same thing. Yes, that's anybody who's watched me talk about pharmacy. Is that okay? So basically, both Pharahs want to be killing the enemy's tanks, but if this Pharah, if this Pharah's team is losing the ground war, this Pharah is now incentivized to take the Pharah duel, because the only way they're going to win is if they actually kill the other Pharah and then get aerial supremacy. But in the early stages, because there's no real way to force a Pharah duel, right? You can fly towards them, but then they just fly back. It's really hard to force a Pharah duel. The other Pharah can just play farther away. They don't have drop-off, so they can contribute to the ground fight. So yes, the traditional pharmacy battle is that both pharmacies will be shooting the other tanks, and then only if your team is starting to lose the ground fight, do you need to basically force the 1v1 and win that 1v1 in order to clutch the fight. But yeah, especially at the start of things, it's going to be primarily both pharmacies shelling both tanks. But if you do land that Discord on the Pharah and she kind of like floats into your range, jump jet, single direct, boom, she's dead.
Discord's not gonna matter if we can't take out that Mercy first.
You dead.
Man, there goes my mech. God damn. My big thing is I don't think we need to junk. We need 2 hit scans for this, like McCree.
Pharah Mercy Zen, yeah, Pharah Mercy Zen is of course not optimal. You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. But will it matter if your composition is suboptimal if you just delete their Pharah off the face of the planet? Right? Composition doesn't need to be optimal if you're constantly fighting a 5v6.
Ant soldier.
Helden sterben nicht.
And it's done. Great.
Heroes never die.
I liked it.
Justice reigns from above. One complete.
Wonderful.
That's okay, we can still push this.
Score 0-3. Switching sides.
Like, the problem with playing double hit scan is that now you're basically allowing yourself to be hard countered by a single diva.
Prepare
So,
to attack.
yeah, diva, like, double hit scan is pretty easily countered. Like, the Pharah can just, like, peek, and, you know, unless you have the ability to just like, burst her in the head with a Widowmaker. If the Pharah has vertical cover and is just peeking while damage boosted, or drops in from barrage you from behind, like, double hit scan is more easily countered because it reduces the like the options that you have available to you to attack the opponent. Double hit scan, single hit scan, yes, but if single hit scan's not working, you either need to ignore the Pharah and kill everyone on the ground as fast as possible, or match the Pharah maybe with a Zenyatta of your
I'll be
own.
watching over you.
Oh dear God.
Hey, it could work.
This guy's attitude is a huge problem as well. It's not helping, just tilting the team.
Oh.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Watch for the Junkrat and
Are you
Afera.
ever going to stream yourself playing comp? I normally do. Once I go full time, I'll
Okay,
definitely do it way
switch over
more.
in a bit.
I've pretty much given up on my accounts for this season. I'll come back in season 10 and play hard when I'm full time.
I'm here.
Why does D.Va counter hit scan more than, say, projectile? Because D.Va has like the one click. Like D.Va has the ability to just completely delete a Pharah out of the air using her micro missiles, her fusion cannons. It's a little bit harder now with the micro missile nerf and the like the boop nerf, the boop damage nerf, but you can still do it. So Pharah's D.Va's negate most of Pharah's spam damage. If you see the Pharah jump jet, it's pretty easy to kill her with a bomb,
Can I go
as well as you can
D.Va?
just
We don't
fly up
wanna-
to her point blank and delete her.
We have
D.Va's
Bash
really
as
good
a
at dealing with Pharah.
shield. Terrorist wants to go.
Attack commencing.
What SR do you hover around? 41, 4200?
They're going double shield.
This is not the end. It's better.
I like your positioning here. This is a lot better.
Damage empty.
Fashion in a bit.
Get them off.
Alright, can we turn around and get
Healing stream engaged.
I put a big shot into her. She was almost dead. She's gone.
Spin down.
You gotta get the healers so you can kill that Ryan.
I'm taking care of you.
I'm just very happy I'm not reviewing this Bastion's VOD. Like, Bastion could even like heal himself if he can't even shoot back. He could just
Getting a
heal
health back.
himself, but no, he just eats rockets. Unbelievable.
You need heals too, just let me know.
Watch out for the Mercy res.
Don't fell. Just don't fell. And I'll be happy.
Where does it hurt?
Okay, good.
The payload
So I always struggle in VODs like this where you're pretty much universally mediocre. So I really like the VODs where you're clearly making one mistake over and over again because that gives me something really clear to work on. But you just seem
Junkrat,
mediocre
Junkin.
at quite a few things. And this can be extremely frustrating. If you don't have a strength,
Been hit.
if you don't have a weakness, it becomes a lot more difficult to find easy improvements. So you're unfortunately in that sort of situation. In the fact that you don't have any big weaknesses, like any critical flaws, and you don't really have one specific signature that you can really like exploit or try and push to the limits. Like if we're thinking back to that Tracer's VOD on Anubis, the Tracer had really good cancels, was always like good aim, good clips, and then canceling with the melee recall, but her resource management was really bad. So we had like, the signature play of that individual, and then we had the weakness. So, pointing out the things that they're doing really well and should kind of try and emphasize and bring out in their play, and then the parts of their play that were really poor, and if they corrected, would prevent a lot of their deaths. But so far, this is just okay. So, and one of the things that I always like, so one of the sayings that I always have for healers is that you want to be more than a health pack. So, if you're just healing people up kind of after combat, then you're not contributing to the fight. You're basically like a mobile health pack, and I want healers to be more than a health pack. But even this doesn't directly apply to you because you are damage boosting people, and you're damage boosting the right people. Some people have died because you've kind of missed them out, and your Valkyries haven't been terrible either. Like there's a lot more going wrong in this game that is not related to your own performance. So I'm struggling here to try and find like the one or two things that I think you could improve on. But if I was trying to give you one piece of advice for things that you could like add to your gameplay on Mercy, is the fact that since your character is simple and more than any other character kind of at the whims of the performance of your own teammate, you have to contribute to the game in other ways. Start like communication, callouts, ult tracking. Now that's very extreme for like a silver player, but you can start at the very simplest of levels at doing positional or information callouts. So for when that Bastion was getting shelled by the Pharah, and you just kind of like watched on in abject horror as he slowly died to the Pharah, instead of having that happen, doing simple callouts like, hey Bastion, Pharah above you, can assist your team in being less mentally handicapped. So, you know, you can just assume that everyone in your game, your teammates and your opponents, are all dumb, and through the power of your voice, you want to make your teammates just slightly less dumb. And that's something that I think you could contribute, is positivity and a little bit more of like helping your teammates be less dumb. But I'm not seeing any critical flaws at this moment in time.
This is not
Alright.
Got the junk. I'm just doing picks. Oh fuck, that's gonna kill me.
Bastion, stop being ass. Thank you. That's funny. I don't think silver players listen to callouts, no, but it's a good way to stop you from tunnel visioning, right? If you're constantly thinking and like just talking about what you're saying, it's going to help you on an individual level in the same way that narrating your gameplay will keep you focused. So another way for you, if you do want to like self-improve and you don't talk on comms, you can always narrate to yourself. But one of the things that you know, I want to do whenever I improve my own plays, I do so what. Okay, so we've got a Reinhardt. So what? Okay, we've got a Reinhardt, so it's Gibraltar, and we're not going to be able to control the high ground very well. So what? We do have a diva, but is the diva actually going to control the high ground on herself? I don't know. So what? Well, if the opponent has a Pharah and our diva doesn't notice that, I'm going to have to inform our diva that the Pharah is there so that she can go and try and contest her. Right? So this is kind of like, we have a Reinhardt, so we're playing Gibraltar, so we need some other way to control the high ground. So we have diva. If they have a Pharah, you know, just kind of like think it through. Why am I here? You know, I'm in the open. So what? They have a Widowmaker. I'm probably going to die. So what? I should probably take cover. Like, if something is happening, ask yourself, so what? And then answer that question. And it should help you guide through the logical progression until you find an actionable item that you can actually perform to fix the issue.
Damn orb. My 6-player kill streak.
I am alive. So what?
You,
I want to...
yeah, you got a pair on you guys. And there goes Roadhog.
Ah. We lost. So what? Queue up and do it again.
I need to recharge.
Did you improve anything? No?
Fuck, I almost
So
got
what?
their mercy.
If you know the game is lost, maybe spend time improving instead of just
I'm
suffering.
gonna go left side.
Yeah.
You know, and the so what thing can also be applied to your comms. So if you're saying like
Oh,
Pharah
shit.
above or something like, you know, Pharah above, and the so what chain doesn't immediately imply action, or your
Soldier,
diva
you just
doesn't
gotta
say anything like that.
focus on that
So if
Pharah.
you say like Pharah above, so what? Diva, can you deal with the Pharah? You need to be more explicit. You know, another one of the sayings in this chat is that calls imply action. Is that if you say something, it usually means that you want somebody to do something based on what you're telling them.
Happy Orisa. There we go.
Back up a little bit, or it's real. There you go.
And anytime you are kind of like feeling we're in this situation where you don't have a weakness, you don't have a strength,
Hey,
you're
Jonah.
just kind of well-rounded, kind of all round. The thing that you usually want to do when you're in this kind of situation is experiment. You know, try and push one aspect of your kit to the maximum. So for this Mercy, for example, since we know that she doesn't really like using her pistol, one of the things that she may want to experiment with is how many different situations she can actually get away with using her pistol. When is it actually a good idea? So if you overuse the pistol, so if you take your pistol out way more than necessary, it will give you a much better understanding of when you should pistol and when you should not pistol. Or maybe you'll find that you actually are some ridiculously godlike battle mercy, you know? Or maybe, like, maybe Valkyrie is one of the, like, instead of primarily using Valkyrie for healing, you whip out your pistol. And this can be different things on, like, Tracer or Genji, too, where instead of just trying to arbitrarily get better overall, try and push your playstyle one direction or another to find like a signature. So on Tracer, are you working on like the assassin playstyle where you're constantly trying to one-clip supports? Or if that's not working out and you feel like you're stalled out, why not try farming tanks and pulse bombing tanks? You know, if you farm tanks, you'll get pulse bomb faster. You use that pulse bomb to kill the tanks. You know, and maybe that playstyle is more suited to you. Or if you're Genji, if you have really good blades, but you're not really good when you don't have blade, maybe your playstyle should focus around farming blade and then just murdering people with your weep stick. Right? Whenever you're stuck and you're not sure how to improve, start experimenting with very extreme playstyles to see how far you can push your play one direction or another. Because right here, you're not having much impact. Like, they have double projectiles, they have a Junkrat and a Pharah. They're straight up out damaging you. They have a Roadhog and an Orisa, so they have better tanks, higher damage, and higher healing. Like, you've got a Reaper, or they're running double shield. Or did they just switch? But, like, you're getting dominated. And you alone on Mercy right here, it's going to be extremely challenging for you to make a difference unless you do like the, you know, the Zenyatta player on Dorado that we watched did, where he goes on the flanks and he no longer had the ability to trust his team to win the game with him supporting them normally, and he had to, you know, play flank Yatta. And him being able to adjust mid-game to that different playstyle really helped him. So having different playstyles in your back pocket that you can use depending on the situation or depending on how dumb your team is can really improve your play. Not in terms of like your mechanical play, but your utility and strategy of when you do certain actions.
Let me get you patched up.
Cease your resistance.
Yeah, so there's like, even watching that whole VOD through, there's no like one specific issue. Your positioning could be better. You could be hiding near cover. Your communication could be better. Your ults could be earlier. You could use your pistol more. You could damage boost different targets, depending. But, so yeah, it's very weird to find somebody so well-rounded and without any glaring errors. Like, there were a lot of errors, but just so many of them. It's kind of like the Swiss cheese model, right? You've got one error in positioning, one error in your ult management. You know, you're not tracking or predicting ultimates at all, which is fine. And honestly, your team was outclassed. So I think that even if I was the Mercy in that game, I don't think I would have been able to do anything. I think that your team was just like outclassed. And, you know, even correcting all of those minor errors in that game probably still wouldn't have made the difference, at least if I kept my mouth closed. Like, the only way that you climb or you carry games that are this bad when you're playing a character like Mercy is through communication, ult tracking, planning, get people to run comps, get people to attack from angles, focus targets, things like this. This is the reason that I am such a huge proponent of target calling and shot calling just in general, using comms, is that at some point, your ability to carry, especially on heroes like Mercy and Moira, become limited by the maximum effectiveness of their kit. So I hope that's not too much of a tangent, and I wish I had more kind of like concrete information for you to share, but I want you to experiment with your Mercy play. Try using your pistol more. Try going for kills in Valkyrie. Try primarily sticking to damage boosting who you think is the carry. Stick to just plugging into your tanks and healing them as much as possible. You just got to think about how many different ways you could push your Mercy. Find what kind of Mercy are you? And if you just say, I'm a Mercy player, you know, that's... Let me show you a clip. I'll show you the kind of Mercy player I am.
Let's move up. We got them one down. Go, go, go. Don't let them res up. Push up, push up, push up. Be aggressive. Forward. W's, friends. Forward. Forward. W's, friends. W's. W's. W's! More W's! Go forward!
I hit Q and W.
Spawn camp! 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 Spawn camp!
Let's get you back out.
Spawn camp! Spawn camp!
I was holding W.
Watch over you.
Come here, trash can. Come here. Huge.
Spawn camp! Spawn camp! Spawn camp!
Spawn, camp, press W, press W.
Keep that.
Spawn camp! Spawn camp! Spawn camp! Woo! Forward! To their spawn! We're not done.
Let me get you
I don't know who this tracer is, but it's fun to keep back here.
So, yeah. That wouldn't have, like, my team, I realized my team in this situation was just being cowardly, and they were going to sit behind the payload and wait for the team to regroup and re-engage, and I wanted them to murder everybody else. So I just screamed at them to go forward, and they kept trying to retreat behind the payload every time we had the advantage. So I kept yelling at them to keep going forward, because they kept, like, the enemy kept trickling out of spawn to keep trying to kill us. And this was right after we'd used a fuck ton of ults, too. So on top of this, I needed to move ult economy back in our favor. So there were like 3 or 4 things going on here. And if I didn't like literally scream at my team, yes, I was kind of trying to keep a little bit lighthearted about the whole situation. But if I wasn't screaming at my team to go forward, we wouldn't have gotten value. We wouldn't have gotten the staggers. We wouldn't have burnt as much time. We wouldn't have gotten much ult economy. This is the kind of Mercy player I am, that I meme really hard on Mercy. And I just want people to be hyper aggressive, and I take advantage, and I just push people. I always want to be pushing people, and that's kind of like how I play Mercy. So find your signature. You just seemed bland. If I had to define your Mercy playstyle, it would be you played Mercy. Like, I didn't find anything that I could really use to describe how you played Mercy. Do you think Elk is OWL level? Absolutely. I think your great attitude is a part of the play that some people need. Like, I always, start out games not saying like, hey, let's run dive or anything like that. I just ask people how their days have been going, how their games have been, right? You just want people to relax and play, and you don't have to try hard the entire time, yeah? Like, if things get right to the wire, yeah, we're going to kick it into try hard mode, but I just like encouraging more casual comms and a positive atmosphere so that people don't feel, like they're being flamed or anything, that they feel like they can talk to the rest of the team about what they think is going well or what we need to change without, feel like they're kind of imposing. So, what heroes do you play? I play all of them. Can off tanks do shot calling? Yes, absolutely. So, anyway. Anyway, it's time. Let's play some more Guess My SR. How many golden weapons you got? Oh my god, 10? Let's find out. I think I've got enough for another one, too. I've got... So this is my main account, which means I have all the healers. I have Anna.
Never stop fighting for what you believe in.
I don't have Brigitte on this account. I think I have enough purple points for it. I've got Lucio.
Let's bring it together.
I've got Mercy.
I'll be watching over.
I've got Moira.
Science will reveal
I've got
the truth.
Zenyatta.
True self.
I've got Zarya.
Together, we are
I've got
strong.
Winston.
Imagination is the essence
I've got
of
Reinhardt.
justice.
I've got Roadhog. I don't have Orisa. I've got Diva. Yeah, I'm going for all supports and all tanks on this account. So, no Sim? Fuck Sim. Fuck Sim. Okay, let's play some Guess My SR. I'll get Sim when she actually heals. How's that? Okay.